Arsenal win again in the Premier League, and what I would describe as a professional and complete performance. They look like title winners. They look unbelievable. The only thing is they need Liverpool to drop points, and Liverpool have been amazing as well this season. But when I was watching Arsenal, the thing that frustrates me is how good their defence is. Like, it is ridiculous. Obviously, there's the statistics: least goals conceded, least expected shots, least expected goals conceded, least shots. But like, Brighton are such an intelligently good team. Brighton score goals. Brighton cause teams problems. There's a reason they're a good team. But whenever Brighton had the ball, and Brighton normally good in space, Brighton couldn't find any space because it almost felt like Arsenal had more than 11 players on the pitch and they were cheating. They're that good defensively in terms of structure, in terms of positional awareness, and of course in terms of individual players. You've got Saliba, that's a monster, Gabriel, that's a monster, and then they've got that mentality. They're celebrating blocks and, they're fighting for it. They've got that warrior mentality. You've got Declan Rice, that's an interception monster that protects that. And other than Zinchenko, who was a little bit vulnerable at times, Arsenal's defence was ridiculous. And as a rival, it does make me really jealous. Like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. When I watch Arsenal's defence, I am jealous because it almost feels like they've got 20 players on the pitch. That's how many men behind the ball. That's how hard they are to get past. And they look undefeatable. Like, I don't think Arsenal are going to lose a game this season, lose any of their remaining games. I don't. I think if Liverpool drop points, they win the league, but will Liverpool drop points? That's the question. And they look so mature. Arteta and this inexperienced Arsenal side is really giving City and Liverpool a run for their money this season. People ruled them out after that January blip. They said, look, Arsenal just can't compete with the big boys, Arteta and all of that. And Arsenal were like, no, we can compete with the big boys. Proving a lot of their doubts wrong. Like, look at their form. And the draw was against Manchester City. They've played Manchester City and the draw was against them. Look at their form. This is their away record. 1 goal conceded and 22 goals scored in their last 6 away games is ridiculous. 5 clean sheets in a row. It is ridiculous how good they are. You have to praise them. Even as a rival, even though I can't stand the thought of Arsenal winning the league, but I'd rather Arsenal win it than Liverpool, you have to praise how good they've been. 5 consecutive clean sheets for the first time since 1997, making Havertz look like a top player that was reportedly washed at Chelsea. The development in Saliba, the all-round performance. You have to give Arsenal credit where credit is due. And I do want to talk about Kai Havertz, and I do want to talk particularly about Saliba and Arsenal's defence. Should we talk about Kai Havertz and then we'll talk about the defence? I might do a separate video talking about Arsenal's defence if you want to see that. So do subscribe. Maybe I'll do an analysis video to break down why the defence is so good if that's something that you want to see. But look at this here. Arsenal recorded another comfortable Premier League win versus Brighton. Now, Brighton's a very difficult game. They caused Liverpool issues the other week. 35 touches, 1 goal, 2 shots, 1 assist, 2 big chances created. I think Jesus could have scored a goal. And I think Jesus looks dangerous on the wing. It just lacks that clinicalness. But Kai Havertz, 4 key passes, 1 goal, very crucial goal to make it 2-0 because I think there's periods where you can't rule Brighton out from scoring. As good as Arsenal's defence is at 1-0 up, you do want to go 2-0 up and have that safety. Jules won, and Kai Havertz is looking like an unbelievable player. I can't lie to you, I was a bit questionable the Kai Havertz signing at first. I thought, well, we know what he did at Bayer Leverkusen. We know that there's a top player there, and if Arteta can get a top player up Havertz and use him properly, then wow, this could be a good signing. But I wasn't quite sure at first, and I think about November onwards, Kai Havertz has really shown his quality for Arsenal. I think one thing about Havertz is he gets better and better every game. He's lost his confidence at Chelsea, but as he's being coached, as he's learning the system, he's getting better and better every game. And I think particularly going into that more advanced 9 role, I think he's better in attack than midfield. I think if I'm Arsenal, believe it or not, obviously Gyökeres would be an unbelievable sign for Arsenal. I think the most important sign for Arsenal this summer before striker is left centre mid. Left centre mid is going to unlock Martinelli, striker, winger, because Martinelli and Saka need some competition. If they went and got Nico Williams, they went and got, I know they're going for Supermendy, but if they could get Frankie de Jong, that would be ridiculous. And Gyökeres would be unbelievable. Then maybe Diamonde to boost the defence, Timber coming back in. But Havertz, crucial goal again, creates 2 decent chances for Jesus. He does a lot for the team. He's a workhorse. The amount of off-the-ball work this guy does is ridiculous. I'm saying that he doesn't get enough credit, I think, from Arsenal fans in terms of, I guess, like you get judged on your aesthetic, on your on-the-ball ability, and Havertz can look a little bit clumsy. But off the ball, he's really, really effective in terms of the ground he covers, closing down players, the press. He makes the job easier for his teammates, if that makes sense. And while he's not aesthetically as pleasing as some other players, and maybe that's why people don't rate him, he has a really crucial role for that team, particularly in big games. The Liverpool game, we saw him drawing out Konate. We've seen him has the adaptability to go in midfield in the West Ham game and win those balls in the air, where West Ham are quite strong. West Ham are good at set pieces. He does it all. But he's got a lot of everything, not just his height, but I think his technical awareness. He's so aware. While he's not the most aggressive player, and while he's not the most aesthetic player, he's so aware of his surroundings, space, drawing out defenders, creating space, and then popping up in those pockets and scoring crucial goals. Luton, when they got the winner, that was Kai Havertz popping up in a key area. Brentford winner, Kai Havertz popping up in a key area. Kai Havertz has won Arsenal a lot of points this season, and his awareness to just run and make those box-crashing runs that sort of surprise defenders and come out of nowhere and cause defenders chaos. That is Kai Havertz. He causes chaos because his spatial awareness is ridiculous. His fitness levels are ridiculous. And I think that he's really, really looking better in that more advanced role. Really is. And I think him in the middle of 3 players in the 6-yard box, and he still finds a way to score as well because he's tall, he's physical, he causes defenders problem, his movement is good. He's got a lot of everything. I think there's a really good player in Kai Havertz, and I think he can be really, really important for Arsenal next season. And I think he scored some big goals. I think Trossard, I have to say, had a really good game. Trossard, you could tell he was getting booed by Brighton players. He wanted to score. I thought Jesus looked decent on the wing, but Trossard, when he came on, he's just very, very good in terms of his ball striking. What I noticed about Trossard is if you had Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Havertz, and Trossard through on goal, you put your money on Trossard scoring that, because I think in terms of finishing and ball striking, Trossard's the most clutch. He's maybe not got the speed and the sort of take-on ability of Martinelli. He's still decent at that, but if you can get him in those sort of more central spaces where he's in tight pockets and he gets a shot off, his finishing is really good. And I thought, the really good ball from Havertz into Trossard, unbelievable assist from Havertz to Trossard, really good. But the way Trossard takes a big touch so he can get that extra speed, get ahead, and then the defender's sort of getting back and the goalkeeper's closing him down, and the finish to put that away was really good from Trossard. And I think that was times in the first half where maybe Arsenal lacked that final conviction in the final third, but they really showed that in the second half. I saw some Arsenal fans frustrated saying that wasn't a good performance. I don't know how that isn't a good performance from Arsenal. I don't know why some Arsenal fans are disappointed with that performance. You're in the final stages of the season. It's not about playing intense, amazing football the whole game and winning 6-0. It's you go 2-0 up. Why don't you just defend? You don't have to keep running at them and pressing intensely. Why don't you just defend, hit them on the counter, win 3-0, which is what Arsenal did. You've got the UCL, you've got loads of games coming up. You're on the final stretch. What's it, 8 games to the end of the season? Yes, winning 6-0 was amazing for Arsenal, but really, Manchester City don't go and win every game 6-0 towards the end of the season. They fight and find a way. I think Crystal Palace could have deserved something versus Man City today. I think Man City have definitely been the luckiest with VAR decisions. I don't understand how some Arsenal fans were sort of being negative about that performance, because that is a complete performance where Arsenal defensively looks solid, the midfield looks compact, the attack looks good. You won 3-0 against a good Brighton side away from home. I think you've almost been spoiled with these 6-0s that I've only seen one or two Arsenal fans, oh, it's not 6-0, I'm annoyed. I mean, look how far you've come. Arsenal would be 2 years ago, any 3 points, Arsenal would be celebrating like mad, no matter how bad the game was. 3 points, come on, we can maybe get the Champions League 2 years ago. Now, you're like, oh, we didn't win 6-0. Look how far you've gone. I have to say, most goals scored this season, least goals conceded this season, the most clean sheets, 5 away games without conceding in a row. You are the most complete team in the league. Liverpool have been unbelievable, and I think the injuries Liverpool have, what they've done this season is ridiculous. Manchester City have also been unbelievable, and while I think Man City do get a bit lucky with VAR, they have been unbelievable. But Arsenal right in it, and statistically, I think Liverpool would deserve to win the league. I think Manchester City would deserve to win the league because all 3 seasons have been brilliant. But statistically, Arsenal have been the best team in the league this season in terms of completion, in terms of domination, and obviously in terms of defensive domination. You've got William Saliba here. What a player he is. What a player William Saliba is. I mean, he's so good on the ball. And I want to talk about William Saliba before I end it. He is world-class at baiting the press and dribbling out the press. He had the ball in his own box, and Brighton were pressing him. And Brighton are one of the best pressing teams in the league. And he just dribbles out like, oh, it's so easy. It's so easy. You've got William Saliba that can just dribble out from the press, so composed to the ball. You've got Kai Havertz leading the line, who's really good in tight spaces and really good at finding space. You've got Ben White that's been pulling in a shift in 2024. Gabriel that's been good. Rice that is a monster. And when you look at that Saliba, Gabriel, Rice body, that makes Arsenal so good defensively. Declan Rice is part of that defence because it's not just about Saliba and Gabriel. It's about the structure. It's about the tactics of Mikel Arteta. You've got to give Mikel Arteta a lot of credit for that. There's a lot of things at play. I think while Zinchenko looked a little bit of a liability, he was still ridiculously good defensively. And even Raya's been unbelievable. People say, oh, Raya has nothing to do. No, he has things to do, and he's been really good in build-up. But Rob Edwards said this, and this is a quote from Luton manager Rob Edwards on Saliba and Gabriel. He said they've got everything, haven't they? Physicality, speed, power, and they're coached very well and obviously understand the game. They've got such power, athleticism. They're a big reason why they suffocate teams. Not only are Arsenal set up defensively good, but the individual ability of Saliba and Gabriel and the coaching, as Rob Edwards said, is massive, because they're fast and they're physical, so they're really hard to get by and beat. You can't beat them in the box because they're physical. You can't run past them because they're fast. And then they position themselves well. They make this that you can never find space. They close you down quickly. They've got that mixture of good aggression and anticipation. They've got everything. And then you've got Saliba, who's maybe one of the best ball playing centre backs in the league. The way he's got Brighton players pressing him in his own box, and he dribbles by them like he's Messi for 2 seconds. He's so defensively solid, Saliba. So you've got to give Arsenal credit where credit is due. I do think they're the most complete team in the league. They do look very good, and they look like professional title winners at the moment. I might do another video analysing Arsenal and this game in particular and why they could potentially win the league. So please do hit that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Thank you for watching, people. See you next time. Bye.